Coming up on Mountain News at 6, a group from Kentucky is heading to Georgia, ready to help hurricane victims. And one Eastern Kentucky college is celebrating its 100th year.
And awesome weather is on the way for Thursday before the heat returns by the weekend. The latest coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
With now Tropical Storm Idalia impacting several states, Kentuckians are answering the call as always to help out. Dozens of volunteers will leave from Lincoln County Thursday morning with a self-contained kitchen to feed thousands. The people are with Kentucky Baptist Relief. And as WYMT's Phil Pendleton explains, this time of the year is typically when this group of volunteers head south.
No, we'll just take this one.
The end of August, start of September usually signals a busy time for some Kentucky relief workers.
I don't know that we've spent a Labor Day in Kentucky for quite a while.
The holiday weekend usually has them either working in or on their way to a hurricane zone. In recent years, they've been to Florida, the Carolinas, and Texas numerous times.
But I know that people will be hurting, and any time in a disaster, there'll be people hurting, and that's what God's called us to do, is to go and help them.
Kentucky Baptist Relief, through their mobile kitchens, has the ability to feed tens of thousands of people every day. And we're talking a hot meal prepared in a mobile kitchen. In this case, it will likely feed 5,000 to 7,000 people a day in the town of Blackshear, Georgia. They will head out Thursday morning. Their primary job will be to cook for survivors, but could take part in other relief work. And they will be available to leave something else as well.
Now, I can just tell you, there's not a meal that goes out that they have to listen to us talk about Jesus. They can keep their windows rolled up, they can get their meals, and they can leave, and we love them just the same.
50 Kentuckians from throughout the state could be in the area for about 2 weeks. In Lincoln County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Kentucky Baptist Relief officials say the best way to help hurricane victims is to send money or gift cards. As Idalia hit Florida as a strong Category 3 hurricane, it brought a coastal storm surge as high as 16 feet in places. Storm surge is a rise in sea level due to water being pushed farther inland. Hurricanes, like any low pressure, have winds that flow counterclockwise. Typically, the right side of the hurricane brings the worst storm surge, so areas on the coast just east of the center usually experience the worst of it. Let's send it over to meteorologist Cameron Aaron, who has more on what Idalia is doing right now. Cameron?
Yes, Steve, this is one area, Steinhatchee, Florida, from our sister station WCJB, that was on the eastern side of that system. But notice now the water starting to recede, also starting to get some sunshine here as Idalia continues pushing off to the north and east. So an interesting look here as the water begins to recede and really the sunshine begins to show after a Category 3 major hurricane earlier today. But now as we look at Idalia, it is down to a tropical storm. Those winds of 70 miles per hour just to the west of Savannah, Georgia, still pushing off to the north and east and bringing some heavy rain, some gusty winds, some squally weather to Savannah, also Charleston, South Carolina, also into the Outer Banks of North Carolina as well. And that will continue as we go into this evening, also as we go into early parts of your Thursday, as this pushes off the eastern coast into the Atlantic Ocean, and those tropical alerts do continue for portions of the eastern coast. Now, as we zoom out, you can see this frontal boundary is stalled over portions of the southeast. This boundary is the same one that brought us showers and storms on Monday, Tuesday. Right now, though, it's our friend because it's blocking Idalia from pushing off to the north, and it's steering it off to the eastern coast. So we are dry, all thanks to this front that actually brought us showers earlier in the week. So that is interesting there. Right now, though, we are dry across the mountains from London to Hazard to Pikeville, and check out those temperatures, middle to upper 70s. So we are well below average right now. That is the big story, and that will still be the big story as we go into your Thursday, as that fall preview does continue. But some warmer weather is on the way by Labor Day weekend. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thank you. We now know the name of the man who was killed in an officer-involved shooting. The Bell County Deputy Coroner confirms the man is 47-year-old Paul Holland of Pineville. Now, you might remember Holland had been on the run after reportedly firing shots at a Bell County deputy on Friday when the deputy tried to serve a warrant on him. On Monday, a separate incident in the Bradfordtown community ended with Holland's death. He was reportedly shot by an officer and no officers were injured. Police need your help in an ongoing missing person investigation. 25-year-old Tiffany L. Guzzi of Beattyville was last seen on August 15th near Mays Subdivision Road in Beattyville. She's described as a white woman, 5 feet 3 inches tall, 145 pounds, with brown hair and hazel eyes. She was last seen wearing a black shirt with blue jeans. If you have any information, you can contact the number there on your Allegheny community of Pike County on Sunday. She's described as a white woman, 5 feet 9 inches tall, 120 pounds, with red hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information on this should contact KSB Post 9 in Pikeville at 606-433-7711. One person is dead following a crash in Wise County, Virginia. This happened yesterday on US 23, less than a mile south of Route 387. A Lincoln MKX was heading south on 23 when the vehicle in front of it suddenly maneuvered out of the travel lane. The Lincoln also swerved but could not avoid the person walking in the travel lane. 43-year-old Stephanie J. Sala of Dryden, Virginia, died at the scene. The driver of the Lincoln was not injured and was wearing a seatbelt. In Floyd County, the Sheriff's Department is asking for help finding a black Dodge Ram pickup. Take a look at your screen. This truck is suspected to be involved in a burglary investigation in the Camp Branch community of Martin last week. Anyone with information on the truck or the owner is asked to call Floyd County Dispatch at 606-886-6711. Pineville Independent School leaders proposed a tax rate increase to be able to improve facilities. Superintendent Russell Thompson says he's not seen an increase in more than 6 years, and this money is needed to update the elementary school along with parts of the football stadium.
The 77-cent rate, that's going to offer an equalization that would come down from the state that would open up our bonding potential, and they would actually raise our bonding potential, which is currently at $3.1 million. It would raise it to a minimum of $8 million by 2026.
Thompson also says improving the schools improves the community as a whole. Voting for the tax increase is set to take place on September 7th. Alice Lloyd College first opened in Knott County in 1923, making this its 100th year. WYMT's Olivia Calfee stopped by the college to learn more about an important recent announcement.
As Alice Lloyd College celebrates 100 years, President Jim Stepp says they have been thinking of ways to show appreciation to their students, making an exciting announcement on Tuesday.
I announced that beginning with next semester, we will be furnishing all returning full-time students with an iPad.
Saying 97% of their 2022 graduates obtained a full-time job or went on to grad school, believing proper technology matters when it comes to their students' success.
The students need to have access to the same technological advantages they would have anywhere else in the country right here in the mountains. And so the iPad is part of what we are doing on upgrading technology.
And the school is also working to get free textbooks for students by the beginning of the 2024 fall semester. One student says she's thankful for all they are doing.
It's absolutely amazing that we get this opportunity to be having iPads and getting free textbooks. Textbooks are not cheap. They can be costing college students about $400 to $500.
Freeman says that the college truly cares about doing their part to make students feel supported in all areas of life.
The fact that my school is actually taking the time to actually prepare us for our future and giving us the opportunity when a lot of people in our area do not have the opportunity or money to go to college.
More than 90% of ALC students are from Central Appalachia, and President Stepp says they want to give them the opportunity to stay in the region as well. In Knott County, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
President Stepp says they rely solely on fundraising and donors to make such things possible, and their kind donations have opened the door for many Alice Lloyd students to stay in the Appalachian region following graduation. President Stepp says 82% of those students still live and work in in the area.
Well, we feel like fall for the middle of this week, but summer returns for the holiday weekend. Those details coming up. Plus,
One Eastern Kentucky County is celebrating history, bringing together the community for a Founders Day festival.